I'm Craig Smyser with 1835 Realty. Steiner has an extensive trail system with more than 20 miles to hike and bike. We're going to take a closer look at the Jay Canyon Trail on this episode of Discover Steiner Ranch. So one of the great amenities in Steiner is the extensive trail system. To help me navigate it, I've asked Sophie Jones to come along. Sophie, share a bit about your history with the trails.
Well, I have lived in Steiner for 14 years, and one of the reasons we moved to Steiner was because of the trail systems.
I asked permission from the HOA to film on the trails, but that request was denied. While they certainly have that authority on the ground, the skies above the trails are open. My videographer is licensed by the FAA to fly drones, and this airspace is not restricted. So while Sophie and I talk about the trails, we won't be on them, but you'll get a view from above. So you mentioned that Jay Canyon is a great trail to walk this time of year. Why wouldn't I want to do it in August?
The reason is that this particular one doesn't have a lot of trails or a lot of trees on the trail, so it is open and the sun will get to the entire walk.
Is there anything notable about Jay Canyon?
It's one of the longest trails that we have. There's also a nice little pond if you go up through here from Bellamar. It's a sweet little pond and normally has some really cute wildlife on it as well.
There are a variety of access points. Near Bellamar Pool, near Bright Sky Overlook and Grand Champion in Savannah, near Capitol Saddlery and Horseback Hollow in Savannah, and at 3 points in Rio Mesa. Jay Canyon is one of just 2 trails that lies within the Balcones Canyonlands Preserve. In fact, the trail is approximately 3.5 miles long, with about 2 miles in the preserve itself. The BCP is a collection of over 32,000 acres of preserve land across the Austin area. The land is not contiguous, and there are over 140 individual tracts. In 2001, Steiner Ranch granted an easement on 819 acres to the BCP to utilize as a preserve. However, because Steiner owns the land, we as residents are able to hike in here on approved trails like Jay Canyon. But remember, no biking is allowed in the BCP. So I invite you to get out and spend some time on the Steiner Ranch trails, whether it's Jay Canyon or one of the many others. I'm Craig Smyser with 1835 Realty. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Discover Steiner Ranch. And remember, when you're ready to buy or sell a home in Steiner Ranch, I'm ready to help.